Hey YouTube, what's going on? It's Chris here. I just wanted to give you guys an update, and we're going to look at a chart that we haven't looked too much at, and this is the Litecoin chart on the weekly. So each one of these candlesticks represents a week, and what I want to do here is start back around November or so, before we had this big run up. And I want to go through this almost candle by candle so that you're able to see what I'm seeing and also kind of understand these candles. Like I told you guys, I'm still beginner too, but I'm really learning and reading a lot about them. I want to show you what some of them mean so that you can kind of see how they will predict the future. Okay, so let's start with this one right here, guys. This is a very bullish candle, and as you can see, this opened right here and it closed up here, and there was no wick at the top, or just a very tiny one, so it has a shaven head. So what that means is it opened at its low right down here and closed at its top. And as you can see there, that's good bullish pressure. The next one opened right at the same level where this one closed. So you guys remember right here, that's where a bullish candle opens. It got pushed down just ever so slightly, went all the way up, and then got pushed back down slightly. So this is still a very bullish candle. The next one that you can see right here, so this one opened right here. The bears tried to push it down to $71, and it ended up going back up to around $106 before closing at $99. As you can see, each one of these is getting higher. Remember, guys, the open right here is at the close of the previous candle. So this open, the bears tried to push it down again. They got rejected. We went all the way up to $156 before closing at $144. Yet again, another higher candle. And then this really large candle here, you can tell this is a lot of buying pressure. You can tell by the candles, guys. Look at the volume that's associated with it. And if you guys don't know, the volume, you can see, is an indicator for the size of the candle and what most likely it's going to be. So if you look at this candle right here, it opened here, it went, so let's see the price. It opened at 143, it went all the way up to $350, and then ended up closing at $313. And one of the signs that maybe this uptrend was going to potentially have a pullback was this wick here. This is still an extremely strong candle, so you would want to wait for confirmation from the next day before you would sell. But this wick showed that people around that $355, $350 were taking profits because we had that $20 or $30 drop down. So that entailed that some selling was taking place. But obviously, that was the biggest volume candle that we've had. The next candle here, so it opened right here, so you guys can see that, and it tried to get pushed all the way up to $370, and what happened? The bulls were rejected. And when they were rejected in this same week, the price went all the way down, wicked down to $150 at one point, and it ended up closing at $261. So from $150 to $261 in a week, just from this bottom point to the close. So that's why, like I said, if you're kind of a longer term investor, it's kind of scary to put in some stop losses, even if they're lower, because sometimes these guys will sell so hard that it'll wick down and they'll buy your coins and then it'll shoot back up. So that's where you just have to be very careful if you're a long term investor. If you do have stop losses in and you say, all right, it's at $300, I'm going to put them at $200, but as you see, they would have got cleared out at $200 before bouncing back up to $261. So the next candle opened right here at $261. The bulls tried to push it up to $284, and then the bears drove the price down to $195 before it closing at $225. And this next candle, you can kind of see it's almost like an engulfing candle of this one here. So what happened was we opened right here, we got pushed down a little bit, and the bulls said not today. So we went all the way back up to $306 before closing at $271. And yet again, this wick told the story of the simple fact that people were taking profits at this 306 and it went back down. We had confirmation of this downtrend with this next candle. So this is a relatively bearish candle here. It opened up here, it went down, and then closed right here, if that makes sense. So as you can see, guys, week by week, these candles really play a factor. The next candle opened here, tried to push itself up a little bit, got rejected. The bulls got rejected. It went down to $137 before being bought back up to $189 and closing there. The next candle that we have, this one, the bears tried to push down and the bulls went back up. And this was actually a little bit of a stronger candle right here because we closed up top without much of a wick. But as you guys can see, the next candle, this was a pretty bearish candle right here. It wasn't long enough to be like a hammer, because remember, this hammer, the wick needs to be more than twice as long as what this actual body is here. So it opened up here. The bulls couldn't even push or make an attempt. It went all the way down to $107 before the bulls drove it back up and ended up closing at $147. The next candle is a doji. So this is really showing that indecision, and you see how we're coming down from this trend right here. Whenever you see that doji, that means the bulls and the bears are fighting. So that's great indecision right there. And many times a doji followed by a candle like this would signify an uptrend, that we would continue to go up. So from this doji, when people saw it, they said, all right, let's make a move. And as you can see, we had 3 days of pretty good volume right in here. So we opened here. The bears didn't even push it down at all, which was great. So we went all the way up to $236 before being brought back down to $214, $213, right in that range. And then what do we see here, guys? This is almost another doji. It's pretty close to it, or a spinning top. So that was showing indecision here from this uptrend that we had. So whenever you see this doji at the top, a lot of times you want to wait for the following day, the confirmation. But this could be a sign that people are taking profits up here, if you can see that. So we opened here. The bears pushed down, the bulls fought back up to 252, and then we closed at 218. And the next day, we had this candle right here. So that's light selling pressure, but it also shows that we weren't going to continue in this uptrend that we had going through here. So that was about 3 weeks of a little bit of an uptrend right there. And we had this doji, and then it was kind of confirmed by this candle here, this little bit spinning top. Then the next candle that we had opened at around 213. There was a slight wick, got pushed up by the bulls. Then the bears drove us down to 158, and we got back up to 188, I believe that is. So another bearish candle here. And you guys can see how we're opening lower. So remember this one here. There's your open. What happened? Bulls tried a little bit to push it up. They ran out of gas. There was really no wick there. Got pushed back down to $137 before being bought back up to about $153 or so. This candle, we tried to push up, and as you can see, guys, we've just been in this downtrend here. We tried to push up. We couldn't even come close to this trend line before getting pushed back down. Make sense? Then this is a very bearish candle. So this one has a lot of pressure right here. Opened right here, basically closed on the low. There's no wicks. That's just a full body. And then we saw right here, the bulls tried to push up before coming back down and closing around 117. And then, guys, this is where we're at. We're right above this 55-day EMA, which is really important. I want to hold that if we can. And you can see how these moving averages act as support and resistance. So always remember that. Like right now, that's our support. If we break down through that, we're probably going to go back down lower. If we can hold this and we have a nice day where we get a lot of volume and we can pop back up through this line, maybe that would get us out of it. But I wanted to show this to you guys and go through kind of just candle by candle. So when you see these big wicks and people taking profits, and the next day people taking profits, and you see a candle like this, your longs, it may be time to get out of your longs, and you can either go into a short position once it's confirmed, or you can just cash out right there, hold your cash, and wait till maybe you have an opportunity to buy down here, where you see we kind of had these tweezer bottoms. It got to around $106, and it didn't go any lower than that. And now we're pretty close to that. So it's almost like we're kind of having a triple bottom here in a way. but we still need a lot more time to confirm and kind of see what's going on. And I also want to point out, guys, in the volume right here, let me redraw this. Sometimes stuff will move around. So let's just go from right there, and you see how the volume is also in this downtrend. And this is our overall downtrend. I told you guys, until we can get out of this downtrend, we're not going to be having many runs. We'll run up, and then the bears will push us back down. We'll run up, the bears will push us back down. But as you can see, we're kind of been consolidating, moving sideways. So we're getting to that point where we're either going to have to break up or break down, and then this could act as a resistance to us, if that makes sense. So I wanted to bring this to you all and just kind of tell you, keep an eye on these candles. You know, it's just, there's been a lot of indecision in the market right now, but there's been a lot of good things. None of the fundamentals have changed, and I'm just so thrilled to be a part of this Litecoin community and just to kind of improve what I'm bringing to you guys. I want to be the best that I can and steer you in the right direction. Remember, I'm not your financial advisor, but I'm trying hard. I'm learning this stuff even between clients. I'll come back home and I'll read my Japanese candlestick charting books. I'll look at, if you guys haven't seen, his name's Phil Lacan. I'll do his trading tutorial videos, and there is amazing information in there. I mean, some guys are charging thousands of dollars for that, and he's a little crazy from time to time, but this guy is, he knows his stuff. So a little bit of a shout out to him. I've never talked to him before, but I just wanted to say that he has taught me a lot when it comes to candles and different things like that. He's a really good teacher, and I suggest that you guys take a look at him and also get that Japanese candlestick charting book. It'll teach you so much. So hopefully we can get out of this soon, guys. It's great to talk to you all. I hope I can bring you another video later today. God bless each and every one of you.